They said Nigeria was too big to fail, too complex to confront, too dangerous to touch. They said the world would look away at crimes by Nigerian politicians, that Christians could be slaughtered quietly, that corruption in Nigeria, rampant corruption, could hide behind sovereignty. Then entered President Trump of the United States. So now, the game has changed. The heat has arrived. Washington is watching. Trump is watching from the Oval Office. The Nigerian permanent establishment is panicking. Trump has cancelled visas for their children and for themselves. That was announced last week. No safe haven for those corrupt ex-Nigerian governors to launder stolen money. Some of them are in the Senate today. No more Instagram posts of ministers celebrating their children's graduations from Nigeria, America's fancy university. See them down on Instagram posing. And suddenly, everyone wants to talk peace. Everyone wants to talk peace. The Nigerian Fulanis want to talk peace. Is this reform or is this capitulation? Is this the end of Sharia, ladies and gentlemen? Or is this simply about buying time? They've been begging Trump to recently. Last week there were meetings. They want peace. Welcome to the Ofion Akwa Show, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas to you all. Look at what I'm wearing. Christmas dress. Even though Christmas is bad in Nigeria. Thank you for being here with me. As always, I took a short break, but I'm back. So let's be honest. We are saying, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. While Christians in Nigeria are being haunted in Nigeria as we speak. Do you know Nigeria's Christmas message? Pray without protection. The president does not offer protection for people to even pray the prayers that are necessary. What are the rumors and pressure? We are now hearing, and this is circulating widely, that Tinubu's government, alongside elements of the Northern Caliphate establishment, including the Sultan of Sokoto, including circles linked to other emirs, has suddenly accepted proposals, allegedly from President Trump's people. Proposal put up by President Trump's people. Why are they suddenly coming down? They want to prevent drastic international intervention, drastic American intervention. They want to cool global outrage over Christian genocide in Nigeria. They want to avoid accountability for decades of state-enabled terror and corruption. Let me be very clear. This is not repentance. This is panic management. So please, Mr. Trump, they are lying. What have we seen? They are making cosmetic moves for you. They are making symbolic gestures. They are making public relations theater. And see everybody smiling like a good man. Including the sudden elevation of a so-called Christian general, Musa, with many Nigerians see as a cover. It's not changed. Musa works for the caliphate. I have heard, allegedly. Tinubu and the permanent establishment are feeling the heat, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what they did in Washington, D.C. recently? They went there and they presented 5 concessions that they floated it. So here is what is reportedly being floated to placate Washington and store relations so that those who American troops don't come to them. Number 1, appointment of special envoy for ending Christian genocide. Appointment of special envoy. Number 2, a truth and reconciliation tribunal. Number 3, return and compensation for land seized by Fulani herders in the Middle Belt. And an end to Sharia in the 12 Northern Caliphate states. Number 4, disarmament of armed bandits. Number 5, enforcement of the Global Magnitsky Act. That sounds impressive on the surface, right? It is not. It is not. I'm going to respond point to point to this thing that Tinubu want to come and play tricks against Rubio in DC. This is my response. Number 1, special envoy. That special envoy will not work if resignations are not demanded. Without resignations, it is useless. A special envoy without consequences is a joke. Any credible envoy must demand the immediate resignations at the very top. The resignation of President Bola Tinubu, the resignation of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the resignation of National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, who has been accused of enabling terrorism himself. Why? Because these same people speak polished English. They come here in those big abadas, holding nocturnal meetings with extremist clerics and caliphate power brokers. like the Sultan of Sokoto by night. Their strategy is simple. Wait Trump out. They think Trump's time will finish. Delay real change. Run the clock to 2027. Reward yourselves, reward themselves with power while Christians keep dying in Nigeria. If resignation is not on the table, the envoy is a prop. Number 2, Truth and Reconciliation Tribunal, a proven scam. Nigeria has tried this before. After military rule, a tribunal was set up. The Justice opened a panel. I was represented at that panel as a victim by Chief Ganifa Ohimi. My testimony was heard. Other victims cried who suffered far more than me. I suffered. I had to be exiled. And then what do you think happened? Zero implementation. Zero justice. Zero accountability. To this day, I have heard nothing from successive Nigerian government. They just threw it into the dustbin. This is a sophisticated delay tactic perfected by a permanent Nigerian political class that survives every regime. They hand over to each other. Buhari to Tinubu, they keep handing over. Truth without justice is theater. Number 3, returning seized lands. That's an empty promise. Let all the others. Buhari will be able to collect land from those Fulani herders. This government cannot recover 1 inch of territory already seized and administered by armed groups. ISWAP. In places like Southern Kaduna, parts of Niger State, and beyond. The same networks that seize the land protects the political elite. The same network. There is no political will. There is no enforcement capacity in Nigeria. That is why Trumpers come in. Those armed groups and some of their enablers in the Nigerian Senate, you see all of them walking around, Red Chamber and all that, are Tinubu supporters today. And they enable terrorism. This promise they've made is designed not to be kept. Number 4, they're requesting or they're telling Tinubu, we'll disarm the bandits. Disarm bandits? Disarm terrorists? What credibility? We have seen this movie before. Under Tinubu. Under Buhari, Tinubu's ally. Terrorists were supposedly disarmed. Then rehabilitated. Then quietly absorbed into the Nigerian military, into the state security structures. This is why infiltration in Nigerian army and security structures is now systemic. This is why even we've heard about coup attempts becoming believable in today's Nigeria. Tinubu himself just put down a coup attempt recently. You cannot disarm terror with the same hands that armed it. You cannot do it. You want to disarm terror, disarm 100%. Magnitsky Act. Yes, I support that one. Do it now. This is the only tool that does not require Nigerian cooperation. Those criminal politicians from Nigeria, you don't need them. President Trump, who has shown unusual concern for Nigeria's 200 million people, is uniquely positioned to confront a cunning rogue permanent establishment. He's the only president in decades in the West and the US who wants to help Nigeria. The Magnitsky Act, the Magnitsky Act works because it freezes stolen assets, it revokes visas for families, it names names. And the names must be painful in the Magnitsky Act. The name must include Kashim Shettima, the vice president, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, most cabinet members in Tinubu's government, an estimated 95% of Nigerian senators, 90% of governors and ex-governors who treat the US as a retirement home. They steal money, come and put in the US. When they retire, they all run to the US. You know they have all run to the US. This can be done now. No need for dialogue. No stalling, no excuses. There's nothing to talk about. They never said a word until Trump shows up. And we expect them to talk. Nigeria does not suffer from lack of ideas. It suffers from lack of consequences. We've had 1 million ideas, but no consequences. Christian genocide will not end with press releases. Rampant corruption in Nigeria will not end with tribunals, corrupt tribunals. Terror will not end with cosmetic appointments like the installation of Christian General Musa to deceive American officials. We've removed the Muslim general. We brought the Christian general. Only accountability works. Share this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, on this Christmas Day. Drop your comments below. Write President Trump. Write him. and tell him Nigerians support intervention. Most Nigerians tell me that they support intervention now. Before Nigeria becomes Sudan or Somalia. I know you've heard me warn about this, but it could happen. This is your Fion Akwa show. I am the voice of the voiceless. I am your independent voice telling fearless truths. I am Ofiong Akwa. Be good to yourselves and each other. Hey, make we go. Bye-bye.